It's time for Success Profiles Radio with your host, Brian K. Wright. Have you ever wondered if there's more to life than you're currently living? Then Success Profiles Radio is the program for you. Every week, we'll explore different aspects of success and how to apply them to your life. Guests will come from many different backgrounds, including expertise in leadership, business, relationships, careers, networking, health, overcoming adversity, and much more. Every show is a dose of inspiration. This is Success Profiles Radio on the Rockstar Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Brian K. Wright.
Hello and welcome to Success Profiles Radio. I'm your host, Brian K. Wright, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with you here today. I'm honored that you chose to spend part of your week with me here, and this will be a really fantastic show. Every week I strive to bring guests who have achieved high levels of success in some areas of their lives, and we'll explore what they did, how they did it, the obstacles they overcame, and the lessons we can all learn from it. This will be a terrific show. But before I begin, I do want to share a thing or two that I've been thinking about lately, and I hope this will resonate with you as well. I've been reading a book this week called The Ripple Effect by Doug Grady. The Ripple Effect by Doug Grady. And it's a really great read on how the small choices in our lives add up over time to create ripples in all areas of our lives. We may not think that one choice would make much of a difference, but think about this. Have you ever thought about meeting one specific person and how that really brought about a significant change? Whether that person is a significant other, a coach, a best friend, or employer, each small choice we make or don't make can immediately change the course of how our lives play out. It's pretty profound if you think about it. Let me share a brief example of this. Through a series of encounters with friends on Facebook, I ended up meeting someone who has since become my personal trainer and very good friend, and his name is Jonathan Loudermilk. For those who know me, I've been on a health and fitness journey for the last 18 months or so, and I've lost 60 pounds. This one chance meeting developed into a great friendship. He became a mentor to me, and through his advice and input, I've been able to change my life around and regain the body I used to have, and I plan on going even further than I ever have before. If it would not have been for him, it's unlikely that things would have been folded out in this very specific way. So in a nutshell, the message here is be thankful for who is in your life, be thankful perhaps for who is not in your life anymore, and be fully present to the contributions that your friends and family make in your life on a daily basis. You will be so very glad you did. With that in mind, I want to introduce my guest. His name is Bishal Sarkar. He has written a book called I Love Public Speaking. Use public speaking as a tool to grow your career, reputation, and life. And he's popularly known as the Excellence Guy, and he is India's public speaking expert. As the author of this book, I Love Public Speaking, How to Communicate with Excellence, Bishal has thousands of corporate professionals and entrepreneurs how to speak with confidence, win any audience, and stand out from the crowd in public speaking easily, practically, and fast. Bishal strongly believes that without a strong home team, you can't build a great career. He recently gave up soda and gave up fast food because he's committed to be an example of what an excellent life looks like. He's a man on a mission, and he believes in giving back to society and generously gives a lot of time and attention to those who need it the most. For more information, you can visit his website at www.bishalsarkar.com. That's www.bishalsarkar.com. And with all that in mind, here is my guest, Bishal Sarkar. How are you, Bishal?
Brian, I'm happy and delighted to be on your show.
Oh, fantastic. I'm glad you're here. You are in India, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And so for you, it is 3:30 tomorrow morning.
Absolutely.
I'm so honored that you made the commitment to get up that early just for this show. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And, to be on your show, I'll do whatever it takes whenever I have to wake up to give the message right here on Success Profiles.
Not a problem. So here's the first question I ask everybody on my show. Tell us a little bit about your background, your backstory, what got you to where you are, maybe some of the things that you overcame, and what brought you to the place you're at right now.
Sure. The thing that I had to overcome, Brian, the only thing I had to overcome was addiction to mediocrity. I repeat, addiction to mediocrity. Because what most people know about me is that I have a professional background in public speaking. I do have a book. I have audio programs. I have this great, YouTube channel where I share a lot of my expertise in public speaking. But what most people don't know about me is that I used to be terribly bad in public speaking for a long time. I mean, if I take you back to the time when I actually had my inflection point was when I was in college for the first, in my first semester. I was getting ready for this impromptu speech competition in my college. And for the first time, I took part in the speaking competition. And for the first time, I found myself inside a washroom before my speaking competition because I was walking back and forth because I was nervous. I was nervous. I was talking to myself like, I can do it, I can do it. And finally, my time came for me to present. And I went on the stage. And for the first time, I went completely blank. I don't know if you had the feeling before, but it was a terribly bad feeling for me. And I did not know what to do in that point but in that point, just few seconds seemed like few hours for me. Very painful time. And then I got back from the stage and went back to the washroom, felt like a failure. And now I ask my audience members all the time that how many of them feel like a failure? Well, we all have, and I was feeling very bad. And that was a moment when one of my mentors actually came to me after the event and told me that Bishal, and his name was Jaipur Mohan. I still am in touch with him. He came to me and he said, Bishal, this thing, you can actually learn it. But I told him that, sir, I have tried so hard. I have done all my work. I have worked hard, worked smart. Why did I not do so well? And then he told me something that absolutely changed everything for myself in my direction in my business today. Is that he said that, Vishal, it's not about working hard or smart. It's about working right first. And then he told me you got to get the right training, the right education, and that's when everything changes from that point. From that point, Brian, what I did was that I started hanging out with the right people. I started listening to great radio shows. I started hanging out with the right people, the right mentors, and everything changed for me. So looking back today, after so many years, I can tell you that the same thing applies today. It's not about working hard or smart. It's about working right. And every day when I wake up to make another day and make another mark in another day, I'm just focused on making another right decision and choosing the right choices in my life.
Right. So I love the distinction that you just made because a lot of people think that working hard is the way to succeed. And sure, hard work is part of it. And certainly working smart plays an element, but you said working right. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Let me give you this example. If I'm going from point A to point B, if my direction is wrong, no matter how hard I go, I'm going to end up in the wrong place. Same thing with everything. Most people think that, I get to mentor and coach a lot of people who want to be, professionally presenters, not professional public speakers, but professional presenters in their job, in their business. And most of them have a myth in their mind that, okay, just if I get on stage many times, I can be really well. Well, not all the time, because I tell them that, hey, what if you have a bad habit and you are reinforcing many times? You are getting better in getting worse, faster. Then what we need to do, and that's why we need great people around us, like you and the radio shows that we can listen to so that we know what we are doing mistakes about, we can rectify them and then do something because speed only matters when direction is right. That's what it's about working right.
Absolutely. And I love the example that you shared about your bad experience because a lot of people, and we'll talk about this in the next segment about why do people fear public speaking, because I know that's probably one of the topics you cover in your book.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I had a bad experience a little bit like that. I remember, I think I was in junior high school, and I was asked to do a little speech at church, and I did not have notes. The person after me did have notes, and she just breezed right through hers, and I thought, I'm just going to wing it, and I think I know what I'm going to say, and about halfway through, I had a brain block, and I stood there for several seconds. It felt like forever, just like it did for you, and then finally I was able to recover and finish. But I do remember that because I remember thinking at that time, gosh, I don't know if I'm a little hesitant about doing that again. Well, look where my career is now. I've actually taught public speaking at a college for almost 5 years. I did that back in the 90s. I really enjoyed that experience. And so very much like you, I felt like it was my mission to help other people become proficient at it and do it in a way that people would enjoy and maybe take some gratitude in doing. That's pretty much your mission, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about teaching people the right way about how they can kill the fear and become powerful. Because when you become powerful as a speaker, You become more powerful as a person.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you can become powerful as a speaker, but tell us how that can help us be more powerful as people. Is it just from a confidence standpoint, or is it from a skill standpoint, or is it a little bit of both?
Well, both, because the reason, most people think that I cannot give a great speech or cannot give a great presentation is because they are stuck with their last presentation. So the last time or last Sunday or last Tuesday, the presentation that they gave where most people laughed at them, they get stuck with that thinking. So they think that the next presentation is going to be just like that. So if we can help these people to break that limiting belief and learn the presentation the right way, and once they give a presentation in a very successful way, guess what happens? They break the limiting belief, and now they have a new standard for themselves. They have a new benchmark for themselves. And now they know that, yes, I can change anything. And if I can change the direction of my presentation, hey, I can change the direction of my business. Hey, I can change the direction of my finance. Hey, I can change the direction of my health. And everything changes from that point once they have that belief. So that's what I say, that once you gain confidence in your speaking, you gain a lot of confidence in your life as well.
Yeah. So we've got a couple minutes or so to our first break. So let me just ask you, I'm guessing you've not always been an author and a public speaking coach. What did you do prior to this?
Well, before that, I was, I started my journey when I was 18. I used to do telecalls. So I used to make calls, cold calls, for a company called Vodafone, which is in Bangalore. I used to make very little money. Then I started working in college. I got into business standard. I worked there for a few months. And then I started, doing speaking training with a couple of, my colleagues after the college was done. And that business venture didn't work out very much. And then I struggled for a long time because I did not know what I wanted to do. I did not know how to get business. And that's exactly what we'll speak about next time, that how I use public speaking as a tool to grow more business. And then, started writing books and everything changed for me.
Sounds great. We are coming up against our first break pretty shortly. My very special guest this week is Bishal Sarkar. He is a public speaking expert from India. He's written a book called I Love Public Speaking, How to Communicate with Excellence. And we've talked about his journey and how he got to where he is now. And like most of us, I'm sure we've all had a bad public speaking experience, and that probably leads us to not like it. But we will talk shortly about how we can overcome that. We will be right back. This is Success Profiles Radio.
Mission is to motivate and inspire others to discover their unique talents and follow their dreams in life. This is Success Profiles Radio.
Did you know you can quickly grow your business online and offline for free? SmartGuy.com is one of the fastest growing business networks in the world, managing over 600 city business networks from Los Angeles, California to the country of Bahrain. In just a minute or two, you can add your business and be quickly listed in their global business directory, local business networks, and get a free web page that can actually rank on top of major search engines in as little as 1 to 2 weeks. No kidding. Simply go to www.smartguy.com. Fill out your company information and you're set. So add your business for free and find out why everyone loves the Smart Guy. SmartGuy.com.
At Solivay, we think a person's voice is the most powerful form of marketing, so that's what we want to invest in. While other companies spend billions on traditional marketing, we reward you for sharing Solivay with your connections. We began with a simple idea. A single relationship has the power to make life better for many people. We took this idea and turned it into a company that can make commerce less expensive and even profitable for everyone. We've started with mobile phone service because it's something all of us already use, and it's the technology connecting us every day. We put you in charge of what you pay for mobile service. service. And simply making the switch to Solivay is the first step to spending less. $49 a month for unlimited voice, text, and data. But it gets even better. You can earn money just for sharing Solivay with others. As your network of connections grows, both through your actions and the actions of each person who joins because of you, you can quickly be paying nothing for your mobile service and even make a profit every month. Visit us online at www.social-commerce-now.com to learn more and join the Solivay revolution.
Welcome back to Success Profiles Radio. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. And this show will clearly demonstrate the principles, if I can do it, you can do it. So let's get back to the show. This is Success Profiles Radio. And here again is your host, Brian K. Wright.
And we are back. This is Success Profiles Radio. My very special guest this week is Bishal Sarkar, and he is a public speaking expert based in India. I've never interviewed anyone from India before, so this is great. I'm getting global, my friends, getting global. His book is called I Love Public Speaking, How to Communicate with Excellence, and his website is www.bishalsarkar.com. That's www.bishalsarkar.com. And if you want to connect with me, you'll find me on Facebook. Look at my fan page, my business page. Look for Success Profiles Radio on Facebook and give me a like. Give me a shout out. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Brian K. Wright. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and I'm everywhere. So feel free to link up with me then. Also, you can download and subscribe to Success Profiles Radio on iTunes for free anytime you want. I encourage you to do that. Leave a review. It really helps the rankings for the show. And I just love having new listeners. And I'd love to hear what you think of the show. So please go ahead and feel free to message me either on Facebook or on Twitter, or leave a review for the show on iTunes. Again, that is Success Profiles Radio. And we were talking before the break about Bishal's background, his journey, and how he became a public speaking coach. And I'll tell you what, like I had mentioned, I used to teach public speaking at the college level. And one thing I did was I did one section on visual aids, how to create visual aids, whether it's charts, posters, what have you. And it's a really great way to bring your message across in ways that words can't. And probably one of the most creative speeches that I ever had in my class was a demonstration speech. And that was always my first assignment after the introductory speech. Someone had to show us how to do something, which required the use of a visual aid. One person decided to dress up like a Christmas tree. And the image still sticks with me. And this presentation happened in class probably 20 years ago, and I'm still remembering and talking about it today. So it was really cool. She wore a green velour blanket, and she had lights strung around, and she plugged herself in at the end of the speech. It was really, really cool. It was really fascinating. Bishal, are you back with us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, fantastic. I'm glad you're there. I know you dropped off the line here very briefly, so we are back. So tell us, your book is called I Love Public Speaking, How to Communicate with Excellence. Tell us why you wrote this book.
Well, I wrote this book because most of the books that I was seeing in public speaking, honestly, were talking a lot of things, but no book was talking about how exactly to overcome the fear. Because Gallup organization came up with the statistics that you have the most deadly fear in life is public speaking. So I actually wanted to give people the step-by-step techniques, what to do exactly 5 minutes before a presentation, because I know that you'll talk a lot about mindset. And I often tell people that, skill set without mindset will make you upset. Skill set without mindset will make you upset. So
I love that.
I actually talk about what exactly you can do in order to get your mindset right 5 minutes, 10 minutes before your presentation so that you can give a rock star presentation. And honestly, I wrote the book because I needed to learn these skills. So one day I actually thought, what are the things that I'm doing myself that I can teach to my private clients right now that can help them? And eventually that note and those manuals became this book, I Love Public Speaking, How to Communicate with Excellence.
Wow, that's great. So let's talk about mindset, because I'll tell you what, when I did a bunch of speeches in college, I competed, and I know you've competed, and we can talk about some of those stories here in a short bit. But I remember when I competed, I had to sort of get myself into the flow, into the zone before it was my turn. If I had another event first, then I would go to the other room where I was going to speak at my other speech, and I would rehearse key points, and just get myself mentally ready to go. And meanwhile, I'm waiting for the person who's already speaking to finish, because you can't just barge in while someone's speaking. You have to wait for them to finish, and then the judge can beckon you inside the room. But there's that mental preparation that goes right on right before you speak. So tell us first of all, let's visit the mindset of wanting to do a speech in the first place. Why are people afraid of doing this?
The most important reason and the biggest reason that most people don't know why they are afraid, Brian, is because they are focusing too much on themselves. And I see this right now in everything that I do, is that, just imagine every time that anybody who's listening to this audio right now, anybody who has been afraid of public speaking before, was a moment when they were actually focusing on themselves. Think about it for a moment. Your speech or presentation or a business talk, it's not about you, it's about them. So instead of thinking about you, when you start thinking about, okay, what about them? What message can I bring to them? What value can I bring to them? That changes the game. And I have to tell you that this is not a list that I got myself. I did not discover it. I actually learned it from my coach, my speaking mentor, Mark Hunter, who's a 2009 world champion of public speaking, who taught me that, your speech or presentation is not about you, it's always about them. So now I teach people that before a presentation, instead of saying, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, I can show them, instead of saying all this, hey, why don't you say, I'm here to do my best and make a difference in at least one person's life. If you change your mindset from me-focused to audience-focused, Brian, magic happens, and your fear turns into power, because now you are not about you are just about them.
Yeah, it's about providing value to other people. It is about being others-focused. I love that distinction. Thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you this. When you are getting ready to walk in the room or out on stage or wherever you're speaking, what is your mindset? What is your preparation process like in those minutes before it's your turn to talk?
Well, this is a great question. And again, another lesson I learned from a guy called Willie Jolly, who's a very, very famous speaker. And he taught me the value of this question. All I ask myself is just one question. And anybody who's listening to it right now should take note. And that is, how would I give this presentation if I knew this one was my last one ever? How would I give this presentation if I knew this one was my last one ever? Because think about it, if I know this is the last one ever, I'm not going to think about if that third row person is judging me or if the last row person not listening to me. I'm going to give whatever I have and my best. And the question itself is the question I use myself every single time. I just finished a 2-day bootcamp right now in Bangalore yesterday. During the weekend, called Present Like a Champ Bootcamp, where I show people how to speak with confidence, present with excellence, and stand out from the crowd. And before I went into the bootcamp, I asked the same question. Hey, Bishal, how would I give this presentation, or how would I give this seminar if I knew this one was the last bootcamp ever? And though I had health challenges, though I had some physical weaknesses, I just went there, gave my best, and they loved it, and everything changes. Anybody can use it.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, as we continue the time frame, what is your mindset after you're done? And let's talk about it in terms of if it went the way you wanted it to, and then what you do if it did not go the way you wanted it to. What's your mindset when you're done?
Every time I'm done, I just want to feel happy that I was in service. Dale Carnegie said a nice thing, that there are always 3 speeches. The one that you prepared for, the one that you give, and the one that you wished you gave. So for me, because I tell people that I might not be the smartest person in the room, I am the most prepared person in the room. So every time I'm done, I feel fulfilled and very happy, because I know that if this was my last presentation ever, I don't mind, because I gave everything that I had. I engaged the audience. Instead of trying to have perfection, I connected with them, and I feel very happy about it every single time.
That's great. I would imagine also that people are afraid of speaking in front of groups because they are afraid they will not be well received. Most of the time,
Absolutely.
That's not the case. People are very willing to hear a speaker. In fact, they consider it to be a nice break from whatever they're usually doing, especially if it's in the work environment. But let's talk for a second. What if you have a difficult or unreceptive audience? How do you deal with that?
Well, that's a great question, and it happens to me very often, and happens to many people that I coach now. And I tell them that you need to have the impromptu thinking ability. And I teach this entire course now that how to think impromptu and change your presentation right there. So, for example, recently I was training a group of HDFC people, the bank HDFC, and I thought they would be very high energetic. That's what I was told, and I went there, and they were completely low energetic and this and that. And this is one thing that I learned from a guy called Craig Valentine, which is tap and transpose, which is you tap into their world with their energy level first, and then you transport them into your energy level. Meaning, on a level of 0 to 10, if your energy level is 10 and their energy level is 2, and if you start from 10, they are never going to be receptive. Why? Because there is a huge difference. So you start where they are. You talk like them, you think like them, and you make yourself one of them, and now they think you just one of them, and then whatever you say, they repeat back to you, and that makes the difference. But
Absolutely.
It's a lot of hard work for you. Yes.
Yeah. I think we've got maybe just a couple minutes left until our next break. One thing that I learned when I was impromptu speaking in college tournaments, for example, you didn't know what your topic was going to be. You usually drew a quote out of a hat or something like that. Usually what I try to do is I would have 10, 12, 15 topic areas that I knew I could say something about and try and fit 3 of those into my presentation. That way I was never stuck. That way I was never lost for words. And in the same spirit of giving value to others and being just like them, maybe someone's not receiving you because you told a story that they can't relate to. So have more than one story about your particular topic to share. In fact, have 3 or 4, and you can draw 2 or 3 of them anytime you need to. And so that gives you the aura of spontaneity, even though you're still really very well prepared no matter what, because you can interchange the parts around. Does that sound fair?
Absolutely. And another thing that I tell people now is that people have 3 different ways of learning during a presentation. Most people think that we can just stand up and speak and everything will happen, but there is one thing that is visual, which is what they see, body language and all the visual slides that you spoke about. That's one way. Second is the auditory. So how often you change your vocal variety? If you speak the same way all the way, you will have no way. So you got to change your vocal variety sometimes. That's for the auditory learning. And the third one is the kinesthetic learner. People who like to do something. So you have to bring activities in your presentation, maybe giving handouts or maybe asking them to do an activity that makes a real point. And
and we are coming up against our next break. We're right here at our next break. We'll come right back after the break. We'll be right back.
The mission is to motivate and inspire others to discover their unique talents and follow their dreams in life. This is Success Profiles Radio.
Energy Saving Solutions' innovative double green plan enables you to switch to energy-efficient LEDs and other modern lighting with no upfront cost. Modern LEDs are far more efficient than other types of lighting, but for many businesses, schools, and nonprofit organizations, the reason for sticking with the old inefficient lighting is the cost of replacing them. While an old-fashioned incandescent bulb may cost $1, LED costs $30 or more, and that's why Energy Saving Solutions has designed our double green plan. Double green allows you to convert to LEDs with no out-of-pocket cost. We'll pay for your new lights, and you'll pay us back with a percentage of your savings. From the very first day that your new LEDs are lighting your life, you'll realize a positive cash flow, and you'll be doing something positive for our environment. For a free cost and energy savings analysis, call Joshua May at 888-620-8133, extension 7082, or visit us online at www.energysavingindustry.com.
Martha Sanchez, the host of the Mommy to Mogul radio show, empowering women to build a successful business, invites you to join her on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the ripe age of 5, she was already interpreting information in documents and instructions on forms for her immigrant parents. Now, through her experience and those of her guests, she provides you with valuable steps to empower you to reach financial independence. Martha A. Sanchez is a registered nurse with a Bachelor in Nursing and Master's of Business Administration. She's a business coach, speaker, author, and CEO of Moss International, LLC. Her diverse work experience brings you expertise in areas essential to customer service, social media, and budgeting. The Mommy to Mogul radio show furthers her personal mission of empowering women to help them build successful businesses so they can reach financial independence. Join Martha Sanchez, the host of the Mommy to Mogul radio show, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome back to Success Profiles Radio. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. And this show will clearly demonstrate the principles, if I can do it, you can do it. So let's get back to the show. This is Success Profiles Radio. And here again is your host, Brian K. Wright.
And we are back. This is Success Profiles Radio. I'm speaking with my very special guest, Bishal, today, and he is a public speaking expert. His book is called "I Love Public Speaking: How to Communicate with Excellence." Bishal Sarkar is my guest. And Bishal, you and I have both spoken competitively in tournaments. And for those who are past the whole idea of I just want to get up and do this, some of us who have more competitive juices like doing this and competing against other people and just testing what works in front of a live audience. And so tell us where you've competed, what you've done, and maybe what some of your experiences are in the competitive environment.
Sure. I have competed in some of the Toastmasters competitions. However, more than that, I have spoken outside Toastmasters many times. Because I think you need to be where you get comfortable. So I've spoken at, Rotary clubs, giving speeches, chambers of commerce, and then I started my professional journey, and now, I train all over the place. Wherever you go, whether it's inside a safe place or outside your comfort zone, one thing is always constant, Brian, which is when you are doing public speaking, it's not about perfection. It's always about connection. And if you are not connecting, hey, people won't listen to you. Just because we can get up and speak and we have the confidence does not mean they'll listen to us. So we have to bring stories, illustrations, analogies, or maybe activities that actually bring their attention and interest so that they keep listening to us. That's what we need to do. It's not about perfection. It's always about connection.
I love that. That is really great. Do you have any favorite competition stories you want to share? In terms of competitions, I have competed a lot in my college. And when I was competing in the different, speech contests, I lost myself. And what I mean by that was that I was not being myself. I was trying to please the audience. And I remember at one point, I think 2-3 years back, one of the audience members came to me after my speech and said, your speech was great, Bishal, but it was not a Bishal Sarkar speech. And I was like, ooh, it was like a stone on my face, right? I was like, what do you mean? She said, no, your speech was very well crafted and it has great delivery and great message and everything. But somehow the speech was great, but the speaker wasn't. And then she told me that, Bishal, you need to be original. And in a few months back, I had the opportunity to read the book, a very great book I highly recommend by John Mason, which is You Are Born an Original, Don't Die a Copy. You are born an original, don't die a copy. And the book taught me that there are many people, we all are born original, but many of us die as a copy because of different competitions or tests. Whether it's business, whether it's a competition, we lose ourselves. And from that lady, which I learned was that, hey, I need to be myself and give my message in the most effective way. And that was the day that I learned, again, that I don't have to be someone else, but I have to be the first-rate version of myself. Yeah, that's really great. I think that's something that Judy Garland told her daughter, Liza Minnelli, when she was starting her career. Yeah.
Absolutely. You shared this quote a few days back on Facebook, which I really loved.
I'm sorry?
You shared this quote a few days back on Facebook, which I
Oh,
really
yes,
loved.
I've quoted that on
don't have to
Facebook
be
a
the
few
second.
times. Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Hey, while I'm thinking about it, Bishal, tell us where we can find your book.
Well, they can definitely go to bishalsarkar.com, which is BISHALSARKAR.com, or they can go to publicspeakingmagic.com, publicspeakingmagic.com. This is a special site I have where anybody can go there and just get the book for free. For free. So if just I'm irrationally passionate about what I do. So if just somebody goes to publicspeakingmagic.com and just if somebody tells me where I need to send it, I'm more than happy to send it via email, digital copy. Publicspeakingmagic.com is the place.
That's very generous. That's really great. So let me ask you, and I interview a lot of people who have written books, for example, and one thing I usually like to ask is, what was the writing process like for you? How did you write this book? How did the inspiration come to you? What went into this?
The reason I wrote the book was because, like I said, there was a lack of practicality in many of the books that I was reading here in India about public speaking. But writing process was really, really hard for me because I did not know how to write a book. I never took a course. I mean, now I know that I went to your website a few days back that you do have a course on how to write a book. But when I was writing for the first time, I had no clue how to write and this and that. But here is what I know. And Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn all said the same thing. Success leaves clues.
Yes.
Success leaves clues. Instead of figuring out the process, everything by myself, I reached out to people who already had books and I asked questions to them, took some mentoring coaching sessions and they said, hey, here is how you write a book. And I just sat and I, got clarified about what I wanted to write and how to get the title of my book, how to get the graphic designing up. And then boom, the book came up and then I, got in with another audio program, which is called Speak with Confidence, Present with Excellence, which is a different from the book. And then I'm writing another one right now, which is called Be Obsessed About Your Dream. It's hard to write a book, but it's very fun once it's done.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Would you do it again?
Of writing.
Would
yes,
you do it again?
I said it's very hard. It's very hard to write a book, but it's very fun when it's done.
Oh, absolutely. No, I was asking you if you would consider writing a second book. Is this a process you enjoyed so much that you'd do it again?
Oh, yeah. I'm writing the second one right now. I would love to write the third one as well because every time I write something, it can live long after I'm gone. So though it's hard a little bit for me right now, this is a legacy I'm leaving for my next generation. It's a legacy I'm leaving for all the people who need help. Because here is something I know, Brian, that if I can provide the best possible service to people, it's a disservice not to provide that solution. So whatever I'm learning, I'm writing through my blog, through my videos and books so that I can provide the right solution to people. I would love to do the process one more time. Yes, I would love that.
Okay. Do you believe that anyone can do this?
Absolutely. Once they know how. Because it's not about working hard. It's not about working smart. It's about working right. If somebody learns how to write a book, it's very easy. It's very easy.
I love that you keep coming back to that. It's about working right. I love that you keep coming back to that it's about working right. So let me ask you,
absolutely.
Since you do public speaking coaching, you have private students. Tell us about a successful student that you've had.
Oh, God, I can talk a lot about them. And, it's a fascinating thing. I mean, the best fulfillment and happiness that I have in my life is my family. The second one is my happy, previous participants and students that come to me and say, okay, Bishal, this is what I have done. I can tell you about this person who runs his own business. And before I tell that, I need to tell you that public speaking is not just for professional speakers. It's for general and genuine and regular people like you and me who run businesses or work for a company who need to use public speaking as a tool to grow their reputation, career, and life. For example, I had this person coming to my Bootcamp who runs a business where he imports and supplies LED lighting. So he goes to different hotels, big hotels, restaurants, and changes their lighting system and decreases their power consumption 60%. But because he had a fear of public speaking, he did not know how to demonstrate the product, how to present the product to the right people in front of, maybe a few people in a public setting. So I taught him the skills, and I think last week, Wednesday, he called me and he said that, Bishal, I need to tell you something. I said, sure. He said, I just closed a deal for $6,989.
Wow.
Providing to the same, there's a company called Leela Palace in Bangalore, big hotel chain. And by the way, $6,918 is a big amount of money in India. It's close to $419,000. And he said that I said, is this the skill that you made? And he said, no, it's the profit that I made just by one presentation and getting the orders. And I have so many other success stories. So this is a real example that you don't have to be a professional speaker to learn public speaking and to use it, but you can be a general someone just like this person who supplies, as boring as a light and supplies it and imports it, and you can make big money as a speaker when you know how to do it the right way.
It can be life-changing, right?
It can be life-changing. And guess what, Brian? Like I said before, now that he gained confidence in public speaking, now he has gained more confidence in his life as well. Now he knows that if I can close a sale for $6,989, hey, I can do something more. I can do something about my family. I can do something about my health. And his entire direction has changed, and he's getting velocity. It's life-changing.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. We've only got a minute or two left to our final break. I cannot believe how quickly this is going. A couple of takeaways big for me. It's not about working hard. It's not about working smart. It's about working right. You said that a couple of different times during the show, and I really appreciate that because that is so, so true. Tell us one more time, how can we find your book before we go to break?
publicspeakingmagic.com. That is publicspeakingmagic.com. Just go there, give your name and email address. I'd be more than happy to send you the copy of the book. publicspeakingmagic.com.
That's fantastic. So we are talking here today with Bishal Sarkar, and his book is called I Love Public Speaking. Lots of people don't love public speaking, but you should because there are so many benefits to doing this. You can improve your confidence, as we talked about. You can make a lot more money in your career. It can lead to promotions. It can lead to speaking gigs. It can lead to more exposure for your business if you have your own business. It's a way to get instant credibility in your industry. If you are out speaking in front of people, this is a very, very good way of improving your visibility in the marketplace. And who doesn't want that, especially if they expect to survive as a business? So we will be coming right back after the break. This is Success Profiles Radio. My guest is Bishal Sarkar. And after the break, we will talk about his live events. We will talk more about his book. We will talk about his audio book, which is a recorded version of this book. Some people don't like to read. Some people prefer to listen, especially when they're driving their car. So we'll talk a little bit about what that process was like, and we will come back right after the break. Please stay with us.
Is to motivate and inspire others to discover their unique talents and follow their dreams in life. This is Success Profiles Radio.
Looking for the perfect destination in Costa Rica, Panama, or Thailand? Concerned about the economy and looking for an escape plan? Then you need to go to escapeartist.com and learn how you can live, work, invest, retire, or do business overseas. Escape Artist has the perfect plan for you. Join our 400,000 readers and get your free subscription to Escape from America magazine. Visit www.escapefromamerica.com and create your escape plan right now.
Inspiration and motivation every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Learn how to maximize your mojo and just say no to the status quo. Get inspired empowered and motivated by a fun-loving coach who knows what it's like to get through this thing called life. With your High on Life coach, Audra Irwin, each Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time and 12 noon Eastern.
Welcome back to Success Profiles Radio. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. And this show will clearly demonstrate the principles, if I can do it, you can do it. So let's get back to the show. This is Success Profiles Radio. And here again is your host, Brian K. Wright.
We are back. This is Success Profiles Radio. My very special guest is Bishal Sarkar. He's written a book called I Love Public Speaking. And there is a lot to love about public speaking. So, Bishal, you do live events. Tell us what they entail, where you have them, when you have them. Tell us a little bit about your live events.
Absolutely. I'm doing a 2-day live event called Present Like a Champ Bootcamp, the most public speaking course in India, every single month here in Bangalore. It's a 2-day boot camp. We have project managers, we have VP of sales, VP of operations, IT professionals, managers, radio jockeys, everybody coming, learning in a practical way how to speak with confidence, how to win any audience, and how to stand out from the crowd in public speaking easily, practically, and fast. I just finished one just yesterday. I'm going to have another one in about 2 weeks, and it always gets better because the feedback we get in my videos that anybody can see on YouTube, it's always people don't leave just with inspiration, people leave with transformation forever.
They leave with transformation forever. That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really great. So how often do you do this?
I do it right now about twice a month, as my schedule permits, but I have a lot of speaking engagements as well in different cities for which I can't do every single weekend, but I do it about twice a month right now, and I have boot camps filled up till November as of now, but it's always great. I just wanted to do it, Brian, and when I get to do it right now, I feel so grateful every single day. For example, yesterday when I finished the boot camp, I was having this conversation with this person who said to me that, Bishal, before coming to your event, I was a bit skeptical. I said, what do you mean? He said, no, I was skeptical that 2-day boot camp, how is it going to work? I don't know how exactly this thing, but I'm so glad that I took the step and took the action, and today I'm a confident speaker, this, that. And that reminds me of something, Brian, that you can sit at home and think about many things, but until you take action, there is no improvement. And it's not just in public speaking, but any area. This man reminded me, in any area, it's always about taking action, because until you take action, nothing happens for you. Always got to take action.
Right. That's great. How many people do you get at your live events when you do them? Are they big productions, or you like to keep them? You like to keep them small?
Very small. It's 15 people, because it's not an event where I just speak. If they actually come there and speak, I give them feedback, and they do it over and over again. We videotape them. It's a complete 2-day powerful transformational boot camp, and I take only 15 people. And it's never 16, it's never 14. It's always 15 people.
Great. How do you find students?
They find me. No, if I say honestly, I have different ways to promote my business, which is one is, SEO. Well, I have another thing called YouTube. I have so much content that I give for free that people see them and they value them, and now they want to come back. That's what I hear from all the time. That Bishal, anybody when they call us in my office, we ask them how to find about us, and they say all the time that, hey, we have been watching your videos for the last 2 months, and you give so much content for free that now we want to know what is there in the premium content and what is there in the boot camp. And that's the best way to promote yourself, by the way. Speak and do videos and give people as much as content for free that gets them hooked up with you, and now they are becoming your lifetime fans forever.
That's really great. Those are wonderful strategies. I mean, YouTube can be very, very, very powerful. I started doing some YouTube videos within the last year. I haven't done enough of them, but I have a YouTube channel, Success Profiles Radio. In fact, A lot of my red carpet interviews that I did last year are in there.
Yeah, I've seen some of these videos. You interview these people, I think it was red carpet or something else, and there are so many people coming there, and you ask them questions. They are wonderful. And the mistake that most people do with YouTube is they just, give promotional videos, advertisement, hey, I'm doing this, hey, I'm doing that. Rather, you give a lot of content.
Yeah.
Brendan Burchard taught me that content is king.
Yep.
Content is king. So the more content you give, the more trust you're building in your marketplace. And same thing I do with public speaking right now, and I teach that if you want to grow your business more, hey, instead of sitting at your home, get in front of a group for 20 minutes, give them one of the slides or one of the one of the parts of your whole pie, which is your business. Just tell us a little bit and do some teaching. Now you become an instant expert in their eyes, and now want to learn more about the business. So instead of chasing clients, you attract clients by using public speaking and videos as a tool to grow your business.
Absolutely right. Now, something else that you've done with your book is you've created an audio version of your book. And I did the same thing with mine because, as we talked about earlier, some people prefer to read, some people prefer to watch, some people prefer to listen because there are different learning styles. Some people like to absorb everything in every way, and some people just prefer one channel over another. So tell us what that process was like of doing your audiobook.
Well, the audio, just for information, the audio version that I have is not the exact the book. It's a bit different, but I do have an audio book of my book as well. So I have one book, the audio version of the book, and an audio program. Well, getting the audio book of your printed book is a great strategy because now instead of having one product, you have two. And now, some people like reading, some people like listening because for me, I love both, but I prefer listening to an audio because I can walk around, go for a jog and listen to something. And it's a great thing. And now what I'm doing right now is that taking the same content and making professional videos out of them. So now people who don't want to listen, don't want to read, they can actually watch the same content in video format. And I can charge a lot of more money for the video content. So it's always better to repurpose and repackage and resell the same content via different channels.
Absolutely.
It's always a great strategy.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what your audiobook is about. I know it's a little bit different than your print version. It's actually quite a bit longer. There's like 21 modules in your audio program.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the topics that you address in that are different from what we've already talked about.
Right. The audio is completely magic. The audio version that I have, Speak with Confidence, Present with Excellence, because it doesn't teach you about how to overcome fear. It teaches you about the strategy, the real practical and very easy strategies that most people will never tell you about how to connect with an audience. That's one of the things that I often hear from people that, Charles, I have this great knowledge. I know how to speak. I am confident. But when I speak, there is a gap between me and audience. What's stopping me? And I tell them it's connection. You are not connecting with them. So the audio program that I have is all about how to speak with confidence and present yourself in such a way that connects with them. So people feel you are just one of them, and that's called influence. Because when you connect with people, you become a center of influence for them, and they feel they know, like, and trust you. And after that, whatever you say to them, whether it's buying your products or getting your services or serving you as their leader, they will do it. Why? Because they feel connected with you. That's what the audio program is all about, Brian.
Absolutely. So tell me about some of the people who have influenced you in terms of, things you've read. Maybe you have some books that you like to add to our reading list.
The biggest person that has given me in terms of the professional area, apart from my family, is Anthony Robbins. His book, Awaken, A Giant Within, is a great one.
Yep.
I love Les Brown, who I'm meeting this weekend in India, who's coming to India, and meet him as well. Les Brown, then Tony Robbins. I love Grant Cardone, Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
Then I love Craig Duswalt, James Malinchak. These people have been to your show. I'm going to tell a name of a person who's a very, very aggressively positive and successful person, Larry Winget.
Larry Winget, yeah.
He has a book called Shut Up, Stop Whining, Get a Life.
Yep. He's great.
Another one that he has is that you are broke because you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So these are great books and great influencer I have had in my life, but I have many different coaches as well, like Mark Hunter, the 2009 world champion, is one of my greatest mentors. I have Jeff Ducharme, who's my social media mentor. I have Victor Antonio, who's my sales mentor. I also have David Averin. Highly recommend his book, David Averin. His book is called It's Not Who You Know, It's Who Knows You.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely recommend Brian Wright's Success Profiles Radio for inspiration every day.
Yeah, those are some great ones. In fact, Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within was one of the early books that I read, and I joined a gym for the first time because of that book. So that's really wonderful. Yeah. So we got about 3 minutes to the end of the show. So, Bishal, let me ask you the question that I ask everybody at the end of each show. Who inspires and motivates you?
I mean, I can take names of my father and my mom, but I think the biggest people that inspire me, Brian, are the people who are fighting for their family and family freedom. And that's something that most people don't do because they're just thinking about themselves. But when I see some of these people, for example, in the last boot camp, I had one person coming to me and telling me, Bishal, I came to this boot camp, though I work from Monday to Friday. Just Saturday, Sunday, I get some time for my family, but I invested the time to come to the boot camp. Leaving my family is because I'm fighting for a better future. I don't want to work there for a long time. I want to grow my speaking skills, become an entrepreneur, and I want to provide a better thing for my family. And Brian, to be honest, these people inspire me, are fighting for their family, fighting for their dream. They're not going to give up. They're not just going to work for someone else. They're going to create a freedom and lifestyle that only 3% of the people can get. They inspire me a lot. A lot.
Wow. That's really great. So one more time, where can we find your book?
publicspeakingmagic.com, and that's the only way. Just go to publicspeakingmagic.com. I can send the book to you for free, and it'll be a great pleasure. Whatever anybody does, I just want to remind everybody, Brian, it's not about working hard. It's not about working smart. It's always about working right.
Right. And if anyone wants to join your tribe and keep up with you and what you're doing, what can they do?
The best way for them is to go to publicspeakingmagic.com because that's where I send all information. They cannot download the book, but they will actually get my email newsletter. They can, from there add my Facebook, add to my YouTube, everything, and it's going to be great. So the one step that I want to give them is to go to publicspeakingmagic.com.
Great, and we are ready to close the show. This has been Success Profiles Radio. My very special guest this week has been Bishal Sarkar. He's written a book called I Love Public Speaking, and you heard him offer to give you the book for free if you go to publicspeakingmagic.com. Once again, you can find me on Facebook. Look for Success Profiles Radio and like my page. Give me some feedback. Download and subscribe to Success Profiles Radio on iTunes for free. Would love to have some feedback. Would love to have a review, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time for another great Successful Profiles Radio episode. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you for being a part of Success Profiles Radio with your host, Brian K. Wright, here on the Rockstar Radio Network. Each week,